The diplomatic relationship between Rwanda and Belgium has been severely strained in recent days. This follows Rwanda's decision to expel several Belgian diplomats from Kigali. The Rwandan government accused Belgium of undermining its sovereignty and supporting rebel groups operating in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Belgium has denied these allegations, calling them baseless and unfounded. Rwanda and Belgium share a complex and often fraught history, dating back to Belgium's colonial rule over Rwanda. The recent events threaten to unravel years of efforts to rebuild ties and foster cooperation. The expulsion of diplomats is a serious diplomatic move, often signaling a complete breakdown in communication. This diplomatic crisis has far-reaching implications, not only for Rwanda and Belgium, but also for the wider Great Lakes region. The immediate priority for the international community is to de-escalate tensions and prevent further deterioration of the situation. Failure to do so could have devastating consequences for the region, which is already grappling with numerous challenges, including poverty, conflict, and displacement. Rwanda's accusations against Belgium stem from a long and troubled history between the two nations. Belgium's colonial legacy in Rwanda is marked by ethnic divisions and violence, culminating in the horrific 1994 genocide. Rwanda accuses Belgium of continuing to interfere in its internal affairs and supporting groups that seek to destabilize the country. At the heart of the current dispute is Rwanda's alleged support for the M23 rebel group operating in the eastern DRC. Rwanda vehemently denies these allegations, but Belgium, along with other Western nations, remains unconvinced. The historical baggage of colonialism continues to cast a long shadow over Rwanda-Belgium relations. This unresolved past continues to fuel mistrust and resentment, making it difficult to build a healthy and productive relationship. Addressing these historical grievances and fostering reconciliation is crucial for any chance of a genuine and lasting peace between the two nations. The M23 or March 23 movement is a rebel group operating in the volatile North Kivu province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The group is primarily composed of ethnic Tutsis, and it has been accused of committing human rights abuses against civilians in the region. The DRC government accuses Rwanda of providing military and logistical support to the M23, a claim Rwanda vehemently denies. The M23 rebellion has been a major source of instability in the eastern DRC for over a decade. The group's presence has displaced hundreds of thousands of civilians and fueled a humanitarian crisis in the region. The international community has condemned the M23's violence and called for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The European Union recently imposed sanctions on several M23 leaders, accusing them of undermining peace and security in the region. Resolving the conflict requires addressing the root causes of the violence, including poverty, inequality, and weak governance. In a significant setback to peace efforts, the M23 rebel group recently withdrew from ongoing peace talks with the DRC government. The talks, mediated by regional actors, aim to find a negotiated settlement to the long-running conflict in eastern DRC. The M23 cited the DRC government's continued military offensives against its positions and the EU's imposition of sanctions on its leaders as the reasons for its withdrawal. The M23's decision to walk away from the negotiating table has raised fears of a renewed escalation of violence in the region. The group has vowed to resume its armed struggle, raising concerns for the safety and security of civilians caught in the crossfire. The international community has condemned the M23's decision and urged the group to return to the negotiating table. The collapse of the peace talks underscores the fragility of the situation in eastern DRC and the difficulties in finding a lasting solution to the conflict. A sustainable peace will require addressing these underlying issues and finding a way to integrate former combatants into society. The diplomatic crisis between Rwanda and Belgium and the escalating conflict in eastern DRC have far-reaching implications for regional stability in Central Africa. The Great Lakes region has a long history of conflict and instability, and these recent events threaten to unravel years of progress towards peace and development. The conflict in eastern DRC has already spilled over into neighboring countries, displacing millions and creating a humanitarian crisis. The presence of armed groups operating across borders also poses a significant security threat to the entire region. A further escalation of violence could lead to a wider regional conflagration with devastating consequences. The diplomatic standoff between Rwanda and Belgium further complicates efforts to address the crisis. The two countries are key players in the region, and their strained relationship undermines efforts to foster regional cooperation and dialogue. The international community must prioritize conflict prevention and peace-building efforts in the Great Lakes region to prevent further suffering and instability. The diplomatic crisis between Rwanda and Belgium, while geographically confined to Central Africa, carries broader global implications. It highlights the enduring legacy of colonialism and its impact on contemporary international relations. The accusations and counter-accusations between Rwanda and Belgium underscore the deep-seated mistrust and resentment that can linger long after colonial powers have relinquished formal control. The conflict in eastern DRC and the involvement of external actors like Rwanda illustrate the complex web of geopolitics and resource competition that often fuels conflict in the developing world. The pursuit of strategic interests, economic gain, and regional dominance can exacerbate existing tensions and undermine peace efforts. The situation in Central Africa also serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. Millions have been displaced, countless lives lost, and entire communities torn apart by violence. The international community has a moral obligation to act to alleviate suffering, promote peace, and hold perpetrators of human rights abuses accountable. The path forward in Central Africa requires a multifaceted approach that prioritizes dialogue, diplomacy, and a commitment to addressing the root causes of conflict. Firstly, it is crucial to de-escalate tensions between Rwanda and Belgium. This requires both sides to engage in good-faith dialogue, address historical grievances, and rebuild trust. Simultaneously, efforts must be made to revive the stalled peace talks between the DRC government and the M23 rebel group. The international community can play a constructive role by facilitating dialogue, providing mediation support, and encouraging all parties to negotiate in good faith. Addressing the M23's legitimate concerns regarding security and political representation is crucial for achieving a lasting peace. However, achieving sustainable peace in eastern DRC requires more than just ending the current fighting. It necessitates addressing the underlying drivers of conflict, including poverty, inequality, weak governance, and competition for resources. This requires a long-term commitment from the international community to support development initiatives, promote good governance, and foster economic opportunity. Finally, it is imperative to hold perpetrators of human rights abuses accountable for their actions. Justice and accountability are essential components of lasting peace and reconciliation.